K2. MS to fix Windows. First of all, nah, that's how you should look at it. It's a meh thing. And again, it goes a little bit into what you see over here also, and also the other one. But K2 is Microsoft acknowledging that Windows is shit. This is not the first time, and this is not the last time they're going to do this. Are they going to try and fix Windows? Yes. So they are going to fix it. Oh, yes. But how much? They're going to fix it just enough for you to shut up your mouth. That's how much they're going to do it. And there are articles out there, they looked at Steam OS, and they want to be as comparable to Steam OS. And again, I will talk about why that don't matter when why Linux is only like 3% of the market share still, with how bad Windows 11 is and all that shit. There's a lot of negativity about Windows. There's always been a lot of negativity about Windows. Look at K2. So K2 is like Windows. Was it 8.1 or 8.2? Everyone was so fed up with Windows 8 that they a couple of years before Windows 10 came out, 10, they did the .1 or 2, I can't remember which one it was, that was like, this is our fix to Windows. That's what K2 is going to be. Think about K2 as Windows 8.1 or 8.2, which one of them was like the fixing Windows 8. And the people that did used Windows 8 from the beginning. I did like the whole Metro kind of bullshit. I used like what it was called, Stardog or whatever the fuck it was called for. But it was a great system. It was efficient. It ran great. It just like Windows 11. If you take all the AI bullshit out of Windows 11, like I again, look at my YouTube channel. I have a tool that plug and never install AI for you. Again, it plugs it on a registry level and Windows Update level. If you take all that bullshit out of Windows and the advertisement, which my ISO do that I do every 6 months, I don't have that available, but I may do that. I don't know how Windows look at you publicizing your own ISOs. But if you make your own ISO that take away all that fucking advertisement and use my or some other people's script to plug AI, it's a really good system. It's actually a really good system. So that's basically what they're going to do. They're going to make it or take away all of these irritations and fix some bugs and stuff like that. But this is basically just Windows 8.1 or Vista, whatever they did when or XP when they did the Service Pack 2. I think it was like the big one in the XP world. XP, I think it was Service Pack 2 was like, that was when XP became good. This is when people remember XP. This is like when everyone say how great Windows XP was. Yeah, that was when Service Pack 2 came out. Because before that, it was worse than Windows 11, it was worse than Windows Vista, it was worse than Windows 8. Windows XP was one of the worst OSs on release that Microsoft had ever fucking made. But everyone nowadays fantasizes and glorifies it because of XP Service Pack 2. And they because Service Pack 2 was so good, they ran with it for a lot of years. Why didn't they do that up here with the 8.1, 8.2, which one it was, I can't remember. Well, they kind of already have Windows 10 up and running, more or less. I don't know when Windows 12 or Windows Copilot or what the fuck the next version of Windows is going to be called will come out. But when we look back, there's a high chance that K2 will be like Windows 11 was shit until K2. Typically, they will not wait like 6 years to do it. We would already have had a new Windows release by that. I think Windows 11 has been out for 6 years. But Windows 10, they sometimes they do it rapidly. I think Windows is going to be... Like they said, Windows 10 was the last Windows release because they would do rolling release, but I think they're going to just spread it out more. Like we are running the same version of Windows for more than 2. Back in the day, it was like about 2 years this time, 2 to 4 years. So K2 could be the Service Pack 2 from XP days, where when the next version of Windows comes out and stuff that we all will be like, holy shit, Windows 11 K2 or Windows 11 Tech 2 or what you will call it, 0.2 version 2, Windows 11.2 was amazing. Because if you look at all these people that use all of these deep loaders and all these tools to take away the bullshit from Windows 11, they all say Windows 11 is an amazing system if we didn't have all of this bullshit that is holding it back. Am I optimistic? I'm in the meh group because I'm sure they can do it because they've done it before. And I know the vast majority of people will like it. But I'm also one that have not had many problems with Windows 11 at all. But I also don't want Windows 11 like most people do because I do a lot of groundwork before I install Windows 11. Like I said, I take away all these requirements. I installed Windows 11 on computers from 2010. 10. With no problem. It's doable. They don't want super great, but it's doable. Like, I've done all of the things that you say you can't do with Windows 11. I've done that with Windows 11 with great success. But I also customize my own ISO. I use my own scripts and stuff like that to make sure that it don't fuck things up. Windows updates are still slow as balls. They say they want to fix that every fucking year, and they do get better, but I think it's an inherent design fault of the update system. They may need to do a whole new update system for that to actually make sense. And I'm sure they will make Windows 11 better because, they, like I said, they've done it before and they have the resources for it. That's what people forget about Microsoft or Windows or however you will say it, is that when they set a course, it takes years for them to change it. Because there's so many small little things that are being put in motion that they can't stop. They have to be done before they can see. It's like look at it like a battleship. You know, we have like a big, massive Harrier here, versus Linux is like a little speedboat with like an engine here. This one here can change like however the fuck it wants because there's not so many moving parts. It's a nimble little thing where this looks more like a fucking submarine. But Microsoft, they when they do something, so many departments, developers, business deals, and things are getting set in motion that this is the ground step or the ground move or the ground crowning point for something that you only see or the customer only see like 5 years down the line. So a lot of things has to play out before they can say, now we can start moving this big thing around. Where Linux is like, what is a distribution? It's an icon set. I don't like the icon set. Oh, well, we can change it in a week. You know, they don't have to do these massive, big fundamental changes like Microsoft have to do. Where other things that are, depending on things staying the same for at least 2 or 3 or 4 years, are in jeopardy if we do so. I hope this makes sense. So that's why Microsoft, I always laugh when people say, oh, Microsoft is dead, they don't know what they're doing, they can't adapt and stuff like that. They can. It just takes time. And when they do, they don't just do it with like half-ass. They have billions of dollars and thousands of developers behind them that no other OS or software company has. So that means that if they want to do it, they can do it better than anyone else. They just have to want to do it. Or it has to make sense for them to do it right now. Because a lot of consumer customers may be angry. A lot of tech people may be angry at Windows. But if a lot of corporate customers are not that fussy about Windows 11, which is the one paying the fucking bills, using it as a platform for their other services, they will satisfy us when they have satisfied their corporate customers first. And that's why, like I said, it takes like, they do stuff that then will takes years, things has to play out, and things has to be set in motion, and then they come to us, the consumer that basically don't pay shit for Windows. We either get it for free or buy a laptop with it on, and yes, we pay maybe $10 extra for that laptop or $20 extra. But when they've satisfied all their customers that actually make sure they make a lot of money, and things they look like, and they look back at it and yes, we need to fix something, They go in. It's a little bit like the fat kid that, every year on the track he get bullied because he's always last, and then one day he decides, fuck you, and he loses all the weight during winter, and next summertime he just fucking set the track record. But it took him like 3 or 4 years to get to the point where he said, I will fucking show you. And that is what big software companies have the potential to do, because they have the money and the resources to say, we don't need to fix it now because we are okay with losing money for 2-3 years. But when we fix it, we also have the marketing machine behind us. We have the talented developers behind us we can utilize, and the money to get more if we need it. So we can outdo all these little hobbyists if we want to. And that's why you should always be afraid of companies like big companies, basically. Because if they really, really want to do something, they have to, I'm not saying they're going to do it, but they have the potential to outdo anyone just with sheer money, workforce, tenacity. Like, it's really, if Goliath really, really wants to squeeze you out, they will do it. They may not do it tomorrow, they may do it in 2 years' time. That is what K2 is. It's them saying, okay, you want it fixed? We will fix it for you. And I don't think Microsoft have ever dropped the ball on any fixes to their OSs, meaning that the community and the user base complain so much that they have to do it. They've never dropped the ball there. Every time they had to do it in the 8 point whatever service pack, the same Windows Vista, I can't remember what they called it. I think they also called it a service pack back then. And now K2, all of the times Microsoft have done this, they have been successful. So why should they not be it now? Do it now. Be successful now. And that's what people tend to forget. They forget the Service Pack 2. They forget the Windows Vista, whatever Service Pack that made that kind of useful. They forget about Windows 8.2 or 1 or which one when we got the start menu and all that shit back. They just magically forget about those. But all of those silenced almost every critic. There will still be people be like, yes, it's good, great, but it's not still, there's still shortcomings, and there will be. But it was never like, what the fuck did you do? This didn't fix anything, and this didn't, live up to the... Like, they never have asked it. Maybe this is the first time, that's like I said, I'm meh. Like, I'm a little bit like, let's wait and see what the fuck is actually happening, kind of thing. But their track record, what is the biggest predictor of future outcome? Past outcome. Past behavior will most of the time also dictate future behavior. People can change, the stuff can change, of course, but most of the time, look at what happens in the past, and if they're trying to do some of the same shit, that's what will be happening in the future. So they are going to do, I would say, probably a good job at it, and they will going to make the Windows 11 we all wish we had when Windows 11 came out. And then in like 2 or 3 or 4 years, we'll get whatever Windows will be called back then, if there even will be a Windows back then. So K2 is like, I'm not so, I don't, maybe it's because I've seen Service Pack 2 and 8 point and Vista and all that shit. I get why people are excited, I also get why people are skeptical. I'm just like, I've seen this before, seen it too many times. People have seen it so many times can kind of predict what it's going to be. It's going to be 8.2, it's going to be Service Pack 2. It's going to be the Windows 11 we wish we had from the beginning. And a lot of people will be happy about it. And they will then think back to like, yeah, that was when Windows 11 became good. But now we have this X Windows version to deal with. And also, historically, and this is also you also have to remember, tech people, consumers, corporate consumers have always bitched and moaned about current Windows. Before Windows 11, Windows 10 was the worst Windows release to ever exist. It's the devil's spawn. It was concocted in a fucking LSD-fueled rage by the CEO of Microsoft to ruin the world. That was how people looked at Windows 10. Until Windows 11 came about, and Windows 10 was this magical, amazing OS. So current Windows bad, past Windows good. That has been universal since the inception of Windows. All the way back to Windows 8. 95 was like the first real, proper, highly successful Windows version. But ever since then, it's always been past Windows good, even with Windows Vista. When Windows 7 came out, a lot of people were like, yeah, this is just a little bit more optimized Vista, and we have optimized Vista now. It just looks a little bit better and stuff. There was a lot of, for a long time, Windows 7, where people were like, yeah, Windows Vista was still better. And it's because that's just how it is with the whole, how Microsoft do things and how the psychology of the community is and stuff like that. So I think this is like propped in the K2 talk.